Hello guys, this is Keith from the local leaders of the 21st century, and today we'll be making some vegan tortellinis. Okay, let's go over the ingredients first. So, the first ingredient and the second are the 1 cup semola flour and the 1 cup of all-purpose flour. We don't have semola flour, so I'm replacing it for another cup of all-purpose flour. Next up, 3/4 cups of water, 14 ounces of extra firm tofu, 2/3 cups of cashews, 1/2 cup of nutritional yeast, 6 cloves of garlic, 10 basil leaves, which we don't have, so we'll be skipping that, and salt and pepper. So, the first step is to combine the pasta dough materials, being the 1 cup semola flour and 1 cup all-purpose flour, or in my case, 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and 3/4 cups of water. So let's do that. And then after that, it says mix it together and until the dough forms. So I will be grabbing and mixing them. So this is a nice example for if you don't have a proper whisk or a mixing machine, using everyday tools such as a fork or a chopsticks if you have those. Okay, so I've taken the dough out of the bowl and I've just started kneading the dough on the tabletop, which is going to be a lot easier than trying to knead it inside the bowl. So I recommend that you guys do that at home as well. And it says to knead for 5 minutes to form a smooth dough. So that would be our next goal. So as you can see, after 4 or 5 minutes of kneading the dough should be nice and round and like a ball. It should not like be wet, first of all, and second of all, after you get the right consistency, no flour or dough should come off onto your hands from it touching. Yeah, so yep. This is the type of dough you'd want, and as you can see, it's not the most stretchy yet. So what we want to do is we want to put it into an empty or clean bowl. If you haven't used your old bowl for water like mine, I would put it back into the old bowl. Otherwise, I would use a new one, and we're gonna now cover it in plastic film. Right, just like this, and this goes into the fridge for 20 minutes. So, as you can see, we have all our ingredients next to this food processor. While we're waiting for the dough to be, refrigerated, we can go on making the vegan ricotta cheese. So, what it says is to take all our ingredients, everything here, and just toss it into the food processor. So, I'm gonna do that. Quick time lapse here. Now that all the food is in the food processor, we're going to turn it on and let it do its job. Looks smooth enough to me. Now, to the next step. Alright, it's been 20 minutes and I just took out the dough. Now it's a lot smoother. This is a side I haven't kneaded yet, but as you can see, it's a lot smoother than what we had before, so that's nice. So I'm gonna put down some dough and I'm just gonna try to flatten it right now. So after you've rolled it out to a decently thin dough, you want to take a knife, preferably a smaller one. If you have like a pizza knife, a rolling knife, that would be really helpful. But what you want to do is kind of just cut off the sides here. So like that, work your way around the sides. And so you have this now. And then from these little pieces, you want to just scrunch together. And so we can, after finishing this, do the whole process again to make more little squares. So I guess we can just cut it here. Cool. So you see at the end, we're gonna still have a lot of dough left. So we might have to do this another 2 times, let's hope. Not too long. There we go. So there's your dough, and you want to just cut it like 1 inch by 1 inch. So 1 inch is about like that much of your finger. So you can kind of measure it like that. And it doesn't have to be the world's most precise cut either. So as you can see, I don't have the most perfect squares, but something about this shape or like that shape is good. So now, you take your really good smelling dough, or what do you call this? Cheese. Yes, your cheese, and you put it in the center of each one. So if you have a pipe, then I would recommend using that to pipe the little bits of the cheese in. But if you don't, then using a small spoon like this, and then just putting a little bit, putting a little bit in the center of each is good enough. So I'm gonna do an example one, and then afterwards I'll do an example fold, and then afterwards I will just do it off camera. So what you want to do is you want to kind of pull it outwards. I think I might have too much cheese on this, but yeah, so you really don't need much, just like the tip of your finger, really. And you want to fold it diagonally. And while you're folding it in your hand, if the dough is like too thick, or for example, too thick or too thin, you could either kind of push it together or pull it out like I just did. And then you want to fold, you want to fold 2 corners together. Okay. And then from there you have this little weird triangle thing. From there you take your finger, put it in between, and just kind of, oh yeah, and you want to squish the sides like this to make sure it's entirely collapsed onto the center of the cheese. As you can see, clumsy hands, there's none of it coming out. So from there you want to put a finger in between and just kind of fold it against each other. So yeah, I'll do the rest off screen, and see you in a bit. So, as you can see, I have finished a nice plate of raviolis, and the last thing to do is to toss them in a boiler and give them a try. So, we'll see you then. Wow, look at that. Dang, that looks really good. Okay, so now time for the taste test. Okay, so here's our tortellini, dipped in basil pesto. Sadly, I wasn't able to make some myself today, so I got the store-bought ones. So yeah, let's give this a go. Wow, it's really good. So the nutritional yeast actually has a nice cheesy flavor for it, so that it replaces the cheese that they used originally for the tortellini. And I love it. I really like it. So yeah, go make this at home, and we'll see you next time.